Back with more Once Upon a Time. This is episode 18 of season 5. Very excited, as always, to carry on. Getting closer and closer now to like the end of the season. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this whole underworld arc will continue to go. Last episode kind of got a lot more backstory for Belle and Gaston. Gaston's now burning in hell, so that's something. But yeah, he's kind of damned to suffer forever, which, you know, could happen to a better person. So I guess all is not lost. But yeah, kind of a big deal for Belle as well, accidentally kind of being the cause of that indirectly. Well, kind of directly, but you know what I mean. And dealing with like the darkness that comes with a life with the Dark One in it. So lots kind of going on with that. And then we ended things off with Ruby making an appearance. So I'm assuming we're going to be kind of focusing on her in this episode, which is great because we don't really see Ruby that often anymore. So I'm imagining we're going to fill in the gaps of how she ended up in the underworld now. Is she dead? Is there another way that she got here? You know, what's she after? All sorts of stuff like that I am very excited to explore. So without further ado, let's get into the next episode. Yes. Oh. That'll be Toto, right?
I think I know who this little guy is. He's not barking because I'm a witch. It's... Ruby, it's okay. You can tell her.
I too am a dog.
Heartwolf. I won't have a good will of that when my sister will evaporate the minute she knows the truth of what I did to their friend.
Oh dear.
I'm just going to do something else that I'll regret. And then Regina will never let me see her again.
You certainly will be.
I mean, that is kind of gross. She's quite torn up about it. She must have done some bad shit. She's not normally quite so regretful.
You came down here looking for Selena.
Why am I not surprised? What did my sister do now? I'm not the one that ordered all the folks we ripped out down here.
Hades.
Well, with all you heroes running around the place, he feels there's a little too much hope bubbling
Yeah.
up as well.
We're not making deals with the other.
Deals are bad in this show.
Have it your way. Do it, Claude.
Bloody Claude.
Maybe you'll think again when you see who I found sniffing through this wall.
Oh dear. Dog napping. Her biggest crime yet.
I took a page out of your book, Regina. Sleeping curse.
Hmm.
You need to wake her up. I'm afraid sometimes I'm just too clever.
Okay, maybe she's not quite so regretful.
I'm sorry if I'm good at what I do.
Stop hiding behind all that bluster. You made one bad move, or 30, doesn't mean you can't make a good one now.
It's true. It's easy to fall back on being the Wicked Witch instead of changing.
And the only person that she has ever loved was her deceased Aunt Anne. She may still be here. All we have to do is find her.
Well, that's true.
I told my family what happened. What, they didn't believe you? They tried to have me committed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Aunt Em, she believed me. She died not long after that. Just before she did, she gave me Toto.
Aw.
I didn't always know I was. I certainly didn't back then. I wasn't in control.
Yeah. Ate a couple of people. It's fine.
What are you looking for? I'm not sure. Maybe that's the problem. Come on. Fields up ahead. The other day, the blind witch bottled David's breath. Maybe we could do the same thing with a kiss from Aunt Anne. Maybe we could use the slippers to deliver to Dorothy and Oz.
Good idea as any.
He's cut us off from Storybook.
Why?
Snow, Neil's fine.
Wait, no.
'Cause
we
he's
don't know
evil.
that. We came because we wanted to. Because I needed you. Now your other kid needs you more. And Storybook might too.
Well, what about
Aw.
Hades?
Gonna be okay.
I love that even though she missed out on having her parents like her whole life,
Hades carved Snow's
she's
hand
still willing
into
to be
the
like,
stone.
you know, your other kid needs you more right now.
I can't. But you can.
But he'll always find her.
Be here to tear my crying baby from my arms again.
Well, now you don't have your baby.
And you've got the dark one on your side. Yeah. Can't really trust him right now. So you finally see
Right now?
I'm never going to get my happy ending. Not with Hades, not with my daughter, not with anyone. How do you know that if you haven't tried? Oh, I have tried.
It's another 2 seasons yet.
The dark swan made sure my pregnancy lasted all of 10 minutes. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Hades,
Good times.
if he decides he wants my child now, he can speed up my pregnancy too. There may be a way.
Yes, progression. You'll have to see it.
We shouldn't be here. I didn't. No, you're right. You shouldn't be here. We made our own choices. Really? I didn't know you cared. All right, I did it for Emma. I figured. And I guess you've grown on me. Ruby's your ticket out of here. You have to take it. I wish it didn't have to be like this, but
Go on and tell our story.
you're right. I just hope we can help Ruby.
Well, hold on to hope. That's important here.
I'm sorry. But for what? Calling you Wolfie. I do think it's only fair that I get to give you a nickname too. Really? How about Kansas? Alright, Wolfie. Kansas it is.
Kansas and Wolfie, attorneys at law.
One sniff of that, we'll be snoozing all night.
Oh, I see. I think there might be some other True Love's kiss that we can use.
We'll never outrun them. I'm sure we can. How? Do you trust me?
Wolf speed? Silly monkeys.
I'm gonna get some shut-eye.
She's a bit spooked.
I hate that NTM. Why is that? She's the competition. Maybe helping Dorothy is your unfinished business. Maybe that's why you're down here.
Oh.
What's happening? No! Somebody do something! What the
The-
hell was that?
I don't think the suit.
I agree.
with that.
Ah.
A little water from the River of Souls gives the soup a little something special. This is what happens to anyone who deals with these so-called heroes.
Oh boy.
Who's next in line?
Surprised he didn't start with that, to be fair. Poor Auntie M. Shit.
I've been looking for someone like her. And I know we just met, but I have never felt like
Yeah.
this about anyone.
But this is Once Upon a Time.
Don't wait until it's too late to tell someone how you feel.
She has the experience with Aurora. Oops. Tracker sent with that though.
Love's a funny thing. When I met Charming, I hit him in the face.
True.
We'll not hurt each other all the time. I've never been so scared about anything before. That's a great sign. This love is freaking scary.
She can't reject you if she doesn't wake up, so what have we got to lose? That's bloody sad. That's so dark.
David, you know I can't leave.
Yeah, you can.
What?
I removed your name from the headstone.
Am I missing something? I've already tried that.
So I traded mine for yours.
Oh god.
David!
No. If one of us gets to go home and see our son, it should be you. He enchanted my hand to carve these markers in the first place.
Yeah, he did.
I can't erase things. I can't change them. Wait, Syria.
Okay.
I'm not very good at goodbyes. No. It runs in the family.
Snow, while you're up there, will you look in on Roland for Robin Hood? I know you want me to ask you that.
Of course.
Suppose it's good for Ruby to have her best friend with her for that, I suppose. Don't smell Auntie M.
Other than your happiness? Nothing.
Really?
He's whipped bad.
For me.
Number one's Alina the Stan.
That's why. Let's start by toasting to Dorothy's eternal slumber.
Oh boy. Is she trying to get in on the inside, or is she just still evil? I don't know. Hooray!
You came back for me. He always will.
Should always find her. The Munchkin just there like, ah, happily ever after. Write it, make it so.
Grandma made it back to Storybrooke.
Oh, good.
Thanks, kid.
There's a way that I can pause everything, even my pregnancy.
Where did you get that?
From Selena, but don't worry. The sleeping curse, it'll hold everything.
Oh.
You're not the one who's going to wake me up. My father is.
Oh, no, Belle, but please don't do
After
this.
you destroy the contract, you do whatever it takes to get me back to him.
Well, less characters to juggle. Unfortunately, it's always Belle this normally happens to, but still. If I could choose to be asleep, I also would, so I understand. Okay, another very good episode. I enjoyed seeing Ruby again and getting some gaps filled in as to what went down while, she's been off our screens. Seeing what Zelena was also doing after she'd been banished back to Oz. What she did to Dorothy with the sleeping curse and everything. It was a cool insight, and I liked the kind of connection they explored between Ruby and Dorothy. I liked seeing Mulan again, first and foremost. I have quite a crush on Once Upon a Time's Mulan. She's quite something. So whenever we see her, it's great. Again, I feel like she's a bit sidelined, as often is the case when she's on screen, sadly. I feel like she didn't have much to do. But with the nature of, they wanted to do what they needed to with Ruby and Dorothy, I guess there's not that much room for her. Because she ended up playing, the same kind of role that Snow did, just on, not in the underworld and in the underworld. So, still, it was good to see her, but hopefully we get more of her at some point. If they continue on exploring that side of the story, maybe with Ruby and Dorothy and stuff, I don't know. But it seems like a nice kind of ending for now. So if we never see that group of characters again, it kind of felt almost like a finality kind of thing. Hopefully that's not the case, but if that is where they leave it, because obviously we don't see Ruby that often. I don't know, maybe they just struggled for the actress to be available. So maybe this could be if we never see her again, at least she gets a happy ending sort of thing. Either way, I did enjoy that. You kind of have to forget they fall in love in about an hour kind of thing, that it's a fairy tale kind of thing. They don't have a lot of time, especially when it's just one episode. You don't have a lot of time to kind of build up that connection. So it is a bit like, oh, okay. You just have to accept that it's just one of those fairy tale things, isn't it? Love at first sight, all that jazz. So I wish there had been a bit more development to that, and it will be a shame if we don't see that relationship continue to be explored. But what we got of it, I think, served a good purpose. And I just like the idea of we didn't have the ruby slippers in this show. They're, I think, more accurate in being silver. I believe that's how they were in the original story or something. It was just the movie that popularized them being red. But Dorothy ends up with someone called Ruby. I think that's quite fun how they did that little once upon a time twist on the tail almost. And yeah, just Dorothy with she the only connection she still properly had was with an animal in Toto, and that was kind of what was holding on to the memory of Auntie Em and stuff. That's what Toto was obviously very, very significant to her. So I guess it still kind of makes sense that if there was a person, an individual that she would find a connection to again, it's someone who's also very connected to animals and nature, in Ruby being half wolf. So that was an interesting thing, and I think that kind of makes sense for why those characters would be drawn together in that way. So yeah, I liked that, and again, just tying in some stuff with Dorothy into Zelena's story as the Wicked Witch makes a lot of sense. And it also kind of fed into, I don't know where they're going with Zelena. I think it still could go either way. I think they've done the redemption with Regina. They've kind of gone exactly the opposite way with Gold. So honestly, the fact that they've already done both those things, I'm like, where, which side of the coin is Zelena going to land on? And I think they just kind of still play with that idea of where's it going to go? Quite a bit. So it could go either way at this point. Because she seemed to have some moments of genuine regret in this about what she did to Dorothy. She's a bit maybe I went a bit far there. Then she had the scene with Regina where she was kind of like very unapologetic about it, but I think Regina kind of saw through that bullshit, and it was just her, you know, playing up like, well, it's just easy for me to be the Wicked Witch that everyone sees me to be, rather than actively trying to change, which is obviously more difficult, even though that's what she wants, because she wants to have a life with her daughter. So I don't think that was necessarily, you know, her backtracking or anything. It was just a defense mechanism on her part more than anything. But then we have the whole thing with Hades at the end, and he's like, oh, maybe I didn't give you enough of a chance yet. So I don't know if she's like playing him and she just wants to get on the inside of that, because, you know, she did make the nice gesture of just handing the slippers over to Regina. She just made that choice to do good. So it does feel weird that she's suddenly like, boom, I'm with Hades now. But maybe the conversation with Belle did change her mind, genuinely, perhaps. And she is just going to be a villain again with Hades for a bit. Probably not forever, because I'm sure they'll stop Hades at some point. Maybe she'll be key to defeating him. That's why I'm hoping they're going with it, because maybe she's doing a bit of an undercover kind of job, trying to get close to him so she can help stop him. I don't know. Could go either way. You know, I think they've set up perfectly well for it to go either way. I think that's kind of the point. You don't know where her loyalties lie right now. So yeah, we will see where that all leads, but I am excited for it. Because I think, you know, they did Regina's redemption story, I think, so brilliantly. I would like to see them do that again, because we know the writers are very good at that. So I think doing that with Zelina would be great, especially because, you know, Regina and Zelina's are sisters, so kind of like the same, you know, the familial bond, people in that family, two sisters kind of going through the same journey to redemption in very different ways, but still the same endpoint would be really nice. I think a cool parallel between them, considering there's been so much contrast between them up to this point, so much antagonistic stuff. To see them have like similar journeys in common and end up in a similar mindset would be really fun. And I'd like to see them connect, because they have slowly but surely been building some bridges, I think, in this arc. So I'm hoping they continue that and not just be like, well, she can be evil, why not? Because we already have Hades to be the villain. So hopefully there's going to be more to the whole Zelina thing, other than just, we don't know what to do with her. So yeah, I'm excited to see where all that leads. I think she could be key to stopping Hades in the end, because, you know, she is kind of the only weakness he probably has. But I did like his ruthless side with Auntie M in this one, just tricking her into being damned to hell with Gaston, with Mila. You know, they're just all burning together now in a horrible, horrible place. So that's fucking brutal. Poor Auntie M. She's like such a lovely little lady, and now damned forever. Hopefully Ruby doesn't mention that part to Dorothy. Maybe that's something, you know, maybe they want to start their relationship with honesty and stuff, but maybe just casually forget what happened to Auntie M, because, man, that was kind of awful, really. Bloody brutal. Yeah. So, I'm still kind of shocked by it, really. But I guess that shows like the power of Hades and, you know, what he's willing to do, how far he's willing to go to lose hope. And now he's threatened everyone, don't, you know, work with these people, or you're going to be turned to water and I'm going to pour you into my like lake of hell. So yeah, I like showing that relentlessness, and how casual he can be in doing those kind of acts as well just shows how evil he is and how powerful he is as well. It just makes it look easy to do that. So I like that they're consistently showing Hades is still very much a threat. He's still very present. There's still no clear ways of us really stopping him yet, because they've started to weaken things a bit, but he's kind of ruining hope very, very quickly now, like removing, you know, the telephone boxes where you could talk to your loved ones, all of that jazz. So I do like them continuing to show that, but maybe Zelina will be the key to stopping him ultimately. It's great to see Cruella turn up again as well, however briefly. She's always a lot of fun. I really like the actress playing her in that role. I think she's great. Still trying to make deals and stuff to be written back to life. Hopefully we get a bit more of her before the arc's done. Same with the Blind Witch. You know, I'm very biased because it's Emma Caulfield. But, you know, I like that they've returned to that character a bit, and we're seeing her pop up and she's running Granny's Diner and everything. She's basically there for the exposition scenes, but, you know, it's still a fun kind of character to have around. And yeah, Snow being a supportive best friend to Ruby, you know, just kind of sensing that there was that connection there for Ruby, because she was that worried about Dorothy. You know, I like that they've built up that friendship between them quite well, considering we don't see Ruby that often, and certainly in the last couple of seasons. I like that they've always kind of kept the continuity of those two being really good friends. I like that they always choose to explore that. It's a shame because of like the nature of this story. Like Granny's not around, so we couldn't have Ruby and Granny reunite, because I feel like we just haven't gotten that in ages and ages and ages, which is a shame. But maybe someday, if they continue on exploring Ruby as a character. But yeah, I liked her kind of run things as well, and now she's back in Storybrooke. You know, it felt like there's a lot of characters to juggle in the Underworld arc, and obviously that's why not everyone came along in the first place. But now, you know, Snow's back in Storybrooke. I don't know if that just means she's going to be rested for a bit. She's just going to be in the background for a bit. We're not going to see her that much. Same with Belle. She's now, you know, put herself in a sleeping curse, so she's probably going to be more of a background thing for a while. But, you know, Belle often is, sadly. So it's kind of a shame. But, you know, they did give her some good last couple of episodes where she had a lot of meaty stuff to work with before they did this. So it makes sense plot-wise as well. It's not just like getting rid of her because they didn't know what to do. It serves a story purpose, which I do really like. And yeah, her Belle kind of battling with what she did to Gaston, you know, be it accidentally. Realising that Hades could just take their child at any time. She needs to act now. She still doesn't trust Gold to, you know, work his magic, I guess, and do it his way, because she doesn't want that to be the way that they do this. Especially because, you know, by association with him, she's now kind of blackened her heart a little bit. So it's actually quite a clever solution to kind of put things on hold and probably take Hades out of the equation. He can't influence her while she's in that state. So it's actually probably a clever idea. And I like that they show that Belle's very smart when it comes to that. But Gold's still like, you know, I'm not going to be the one who wakes you up. You know, it's not true love kissing isn't going to work, because I'm not going to be the person you want me to be when I kiss you. But we have Belle's dad that they can use instead. So there's some setup with that. But maybe that's a hint of maybe more of a character arc for Gold. Maybe he can still be won over. I don't know. I feel like they've really just kind of gone ham on, you know, this is who he is evil. So we'll see. But yeah, there are a few kind of key players out of the way for the time being, so maybe that's going to give a bit more focus to some other characters, because, you know, Emma hasn't had that much to do recently either. Henry, Hook, the past few episodes have kind of just been around as well. But we had a few good moments with them in this episode, I thought. Emma's standout moment for me was when she was kind of saying, you know, to David and Snow that they need to go home because, you know, their other kid needs them more right now. They came there, you know, for her. Now they need to go back for Neil. Which I liked, because she's been so without her parents for so long. And, you know, she's going to have that need to have them around and stuff. And she still is willing to be like, you know, we still need to be separated again because it's what's best for my little brother. So I like that selflessness, you know. It's not like when she went dark and stuff, there's really no coming back. She really has kind of, you know, she still has a lot of kind of selfless qualities, which I really enjoyed. So that was a great moment for her. And for Hook, I loved the scene with him and David, for better or worse, because I do feel like how that arc ended up going completely negated that scene and made it pointless, which is sad. Because I thought it was a really nice bonding moment between the two of them. You know, kind of accepting how far they've come in their relationship. You know, they've actually kind of grown quite attached to each other now. I really like just the moments when they just pause and have some character beats like that. And I liked Hook kind of helping David accept that he needs to go home. He needs to be the one to do it. And then they immediately go back on it. And he's like, well, I changed the name. It was obviously well set up because, you know, his hook was kind of magicked up so he could like carve on the stones. So, you know, there was precedent for him being able to do that. But I just feel like in terms of the character moment, you might as well not had that scene in with David and Hook, because he just like, I've had that realization, but I'm not going to do that anyway. You're still going back, Snow. I don't know if it's a behind the scenes thing and the actress just needs to be written out for a bit. I don't know. Maybe it's more so of that, but then just don't write a really great scene with Hook and David and then just completely go back on it a couple of scenes later. It seemed very weird because it was such a nice scene as well. And it was great to see David kind of have that acceptance, like, okay, this needs to be my responsibility now. It would, you know, more of a different side to him, like when it was him and Henry in the start of season 2, and, you know, he was the one kind of left behind there. Snow was off having the adventures. We saw a very different side to him through that, and he kind of had to step up, be a leader. You know, he gave that rousing speech near the start of season 2 to get everyone on board. He seems to have forgotten that he did do that, and I was like, no, Snow White is the right leader, and obviously she still would be very good at it. But he has done that before, Maybe they just didn't want to recycle that plot again here and have David be the one who has to go back and like rally the troops at Storybrooke. But it's Once Upon a Time, and they have kind of, they've recycled a lot of plots a lot of times. So I don't know, it felt like it robbed us seeing a different side to David and like fleshing out that character in a different kind of way that we haven't seen in a while. So I don't know if there's any behind the scenes reasons for why that didn't pan out, but maybe just don't write it to go in that direction, and then for no reason, seemingly on screen, it's just like, actually, nah. So I just feel like it negated a really great scene, and undid what could have been some good character moments. But, it's a shame, but regardless, I still like them saying goodbye and everything. The idea that they'll always find each other is still very, very strong, and there's a few parallels to that, I think, with the Ruby and Dorothy story, which was great to see. I like it when they parallel things like that, and different stories somehow kind of have similar meanings and themes, which is great. So yeah, aside from that, I did like, the setup of them having to find each other all over again, and Snow going back home. They seem to set it up to go one way, and not like a cool plot twist. This hasn't worked out the way we thought it was going to. It's just negated something entirely that they seem to be setting up. I'm just like, well, maybe give another scene to developing Ruby and Dorothy then in that case, or, giving Belle a bit more to do, or I don't know. It felt a bit strange to me personally, but at the end of the day, I still liked where things ended up going, and it's not like it was completely out of the blue that Hook could suddenly change the name and stuff. They had set that up, so it's not like, oh, well, that's stupid, because it was in there. So, I think it's a shame they didn't go in the direction they have, but maybe they'll do some interesting stuff with David having been left behind in the underworld now. Because again, David's kind of been another character that's kind of floated around for a few seasons at this point. So maybe this is a chance for him to have a really good story to himself. We'll see. But yeah, aside of that, I don't think there's really much else to talk about. But some really great character moments in there. I'm excited to see almost a will they, won't they? Will they be evil, won't they be evil? In terms of where Zelina's storyline's headed with Hades. That could go either way, so I'm excited to see the outcome of that. I liked the Ruby and Dorothy stuff quite a bit as well, and seeing Mulan again is always going to be positive in my book. So I liked that, kind of a rounding off to that story, potentially, for those characters. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not, but if that is it, then they gave them a nice love story to kind of wrap that up. And yeah, seeing people like Cruella, Blind Witch and stuff, always fun. I liked the character moments for Emma and David and Hook in their scene in particular. Shame how that panned out, but still. And interesting kind of groundwork for Belle and Gold as well. With Belle out of the picture for a little while, is Gold going to turn to everyone else? Is he going to have his own little story for a bit? What's his next move? Who's he going to turn to now? We shall have to wait and see. What if he turns to Peter Pan? What if he goes to Peter Pan? Because he's committing to being evil. What if he goes to his dad? I'm not going to get my hopes up because we haven't seen Pan in ages. I feel like he's gone. But, damn, that'd be great. Either way, yeah, we had some really great character moments in this one. And I like the kind of plot lines we had on display. Hades just being a ruthless bastard. Poor Auntie M. F in the chat for Auntie M. But yeah, I'm excited to see where they continue going with this story. But that's going to be everything for now. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.